his love for jazz by assembling the talented Amandla Freedom Ensemble, which has over the past few years injected a new energy into traditional jazz with a hip but cultured sound. Amandla Freedom Ensemble has finally released their long-awaited album. It is titled Bhekisizwe, and Mandla joins us now to tell us more about it. Good morning, welcome to Morning Live.
Great to be here, Leo. Yeah,
why was it finally the right time to put it all together on one album?
Well, I don't know if it was the right time, but it was just that moment that inspired this album. When we got together, it was just a performance, and we just called up some guys and we said, yeah, let's lay this down. So it was like when all the guys were just there at that time. So we were all playing together, and we just decided just to go to the studio.
Can we address this album cover though?
Yes.
It is absolutely gorgeous. How did this come about?
Well, it's from a very close friend of mine, very good friend of mine by the name of Mlangeni, who's actually based in Cape Town. I stayed with him and I've worked with him for countless other projects. In Cape Town, we created a project called the African Freedom Principle, which brought the likes of Bralo Moholu and Andile Enana to the fore when we played, collaborated with them. Yeah, so he's a very promising artist and a great friend of mine. Yeah, Mlangeni.
Yeah. What's on this album?
Well, it features original compositions, which were composed by me, workshopped by the Mandla Freedom Ensemble, in the form of Mandla Mlangeni, Ariel Zamonski, Tumi Mokhorosi, Oscar Rachabani. But the album features the talents of Africa Mkhize, Ganesh Gaime, all the way from Switzerland, and Mobo 2014 jazz winner Shabaka Hutchings, all the way from the UK.
We're talking about Rasikho's contribution to the album. Talk to us about that.
Oh, Lesekho Rampulukeng. Well, Rasikho Rampulukeng, I met Lesekho Rampulukeng about maybe 2 years ago. And we know maybe through a mutual family friend. But Lesekho wrote the text to a story that was very close to my heart, something that happened to me when I was a very young man, a young boy. My father was a political activist and was affected by this thing called the Flag Blast, hit squad, Eugene de Kock. And he was a lawyer, human rights lawyer, and his name was Mandla Mlangeni. And recently there's been a story written around the TRC and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So Lesotho put this all in context. And essentially what he says is that let's look at where we are right now. Let's look at the country. So his message strikes a resounding chord in the album and just gives the album its context.
Bhekisizwe.
Definitely.
What's the significance of that title?
Basically, Bhekisizwe is named, the album is dedicated after my father, whose name was Bhekisizwe.
Yeah.
So, but right now, Bhekisizwe just means that look at the nation, or it can also be interpreted as look after the nation. But in this context, we say look at the nation. Where are we right now? Have we made strides? What have we really sacrificed for our freedom? And are we maintaining the order of the day? I mean, what are we saying? How are we contributing to the sacrifices that all the blood that has been spilled? And this blood that's been spilled amounted to nothing. So basically, the poem seeks to interrogate that in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And the music kind of provides a backdrop and just color to a lot of the other things, but it just, yeah.
Let's talk about the different roles, though, of the different contributors to Amandla Freedom Ensemble. Who does what? Who contributes what?
Oh, well, yes. Mandla Mlangeni is the composer, he's the band leader, and he's the trumpeter. Essentially that. Well, and we have Ariel Zamonski on double bass. He's in charge of logistics.
Yes.
So anywhere we need to go, he is there. He takes us there.
He must make it happen.
Yes. And then Oscar Rachabani is a saxophonist, and he also is the muse, is the inspiration. So he gives us the context. He's the embodiment of South African music. 26-year-old astonishing tenor sax player. And we have Mlangeni, who's just joined the band. He's on percussion, and he just adds another kind of vitality. So we have different kinds of roles. But I just take care of the administrative and the compositional things, and then we let the music.
I wanted to ask, when did you decide to add the percussion? Because remember when you were here a couple of months ago, there was no percussion. What necessitated that?
Oh yeah, the percussion was because it just sounded nice. We just met over a drink and we're like, hey, Hons, it would be nice to have you here. And then, yeah, he obliged and he joined us. Then we've been doing a couple of tours with him ever since then, yes.
And the last time I checked, you were in Durban as well. How was Durban?
Yes, we did Durban. It was well received. We played for children. It was sponsored by the Concert SA and the Department of Arts and Culture through the Mzansi Golden Economy Fund. We'd like to thank the Department of Arts and Culture.
Did you rehearse that?
No, it's just I just remember to say it because they did fund the project. And then for sure, and then we also did Cape Town, and we just came from Mozambique. So it's been a whirlwind, trying to promote the album, trying to promote the spirit of freedom.
All right, Mandla, thank you so much for talking to us.
It's always
such a pleasure having you here. Bhekisizwe, that's the album, Mandla Freedom Ensemble there, talking to us about the album. It is absolutely there. I just wanted to talk about that album cover. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, if you're keen to see them in action, you can go to Nikki's Oasis in Johannesburg in Newtown. They'll be performing there tonight from 8:30. They go by the name of Amandla Freedom Ensemble. If you are under the impression that authentic jazz is on its way out, they will convince you otherwise. Well, for more information, www.amandlafreedom.com. They're also on Facebook and Twitter and all the platforms. They're also on Instagram called Amandla Freedom Ensemble at Mlangeni Vugani on Twitter. All right, let's say goodbye. Playing us out is Amandla Freedom Ensemble from the album Bhekisizwe. Bye-bye.